But I find it interesting in Judaism, like in ultra-Orthodox Judaism, they're trying to follow all the commandments and all the little commandments in Deuteronomy and Leviticus, but they don't stone women anymore. So there has been reinterpretations of how you actually carry out those things over the centuries, over the course of rabbinic Judaism, that has moderated those things. And in Islam, there are parts of Islam where it has not been moderated, or you're taking illiterate people and with a bad leader, and all of a sudden they're implementing something that's really, really horrible. So, it's a lot of stuff. 5 pillars of Islam is what I really want. So, what I was trying to get to you tonight is, if you believe Muhammad got all these revelations from the Archangel Gabriel, if you believe that the Quran is actually the final revelation of God, so what? Now what do you do? All right, you're a Muslim, so what do you do? Well, the 5 pillars of Islam are the core duties of a Muslim all around the world. You have profession of faith, prayer, both individual but also this ritualistic corporate prayer, almsgiving, both personal charity and then the required charity, fasting, and pilgrimage. Once in your life, you're going to aspire to go to Mecca and recreate what Muhammad did in his pilgrimage. I think it's very interesting for us to think that this whole thing about laws, these ritual purity laws, these ceremonial laws, even though you find it in the Old Testament, Jesus said, I have fulfilled the law. Paul says, if you ever, and this is a little bit on the side, but we just got 1 or 2 minutes left. I know there's some discussion early on about Messianic Jews, right? And these are people who identify as Jews, but they believe in Jesus Christ, so they're called Messianic Jews. So they follow a lot of the Jewish rituals, Passover meals, the whole 9 yards. But they profess Jesus as Lord. And I don't have a problem with that. That's great. If you want to be whatever, you want to be a Bulgarian Christian and practice Bulgarian culture and different liturgy, that's fine, right? But, go back and read Paul. Go read the letter of Galatians. If anybody says to you, think about it this way. On Sunday, when Trevor does worship, and he asks everybody to stand, and everybody stands to sing a song, if half the congregation didn't stand and sat, would we have to rerun that service because it wasn't acceptable to God? Because we didn't stand at the right time? No. So what we're saying is in terms of prayer, in terms of our worship of our Lord, Jesus fulfilled all those ceremonial. He is the priest. We don't need any priests anymore. He is the priest. We don't need a sacrificial system to offer sacrifices to God to get in a ritual purity. Jesus himself was the sacrifice once and for all. We don't need a temple. We don't need a priest. We don't need ritual stuff. Sometimes the ritual stuff is okay, right? It's comforting. It's a way to do corporate worship. The Messianic Jew stuff is great, unless they attach theological significance to it. If somehow anybody would think that they're a better Christian, better follower of Jesus Christ because I stood up and you sat down, or I practiced the Seder meal and you don't, and I'm closer to it, there's zero theological significance to that stuff. Got that? All right. Now, I'm not saying sit down on Sunday. Stand up. But I'm just saying, right? Whereas, some of the other religions attach a lot more significance, and they actually attach sacred writings to some of those things. Jesus fulfilled the law. Paul says we're not under the law anymore. We're under the law of Christ. Law of love. Questions? A lot of stuff. Helpful?
Are the 5 pillars actually stated in the Quran? Or did they come up with it outside of it?
I have to get back to you, but I think these are a kind of a theological way to describe the core requirements that come out of the Quran and Hadith that are codified, and they become the 5 pillars of Islam. I don't think there's a verse that says, here's the 5 pillars of Islam.
No, but I guess the 5 concepts are in there.
The concepts are in there, yes. In the Hadith and in the Quran.
Where do they believe they're going to go when they die?
To heaven, if you're a good Muslim, to a great oasis that's got all full of sensual pleasure, and you'll be with God. All right, we're over time. Thank you so much. See you next week. Or not next week. Yeah.